welcome back. Day one of the haunting. Our three investigators met at Mystic Treasures for their weekly meeting into the supernatural, where they were given a task by Mr. Tanner, who is the owner of the shop, who had a friend who worked for a detective agency, who had asked him to look into what he called the Corbett House. The individual wanted to rent it, but he'd been having some weird issues with his last few tenants. And before he was able to sell it, he wanted to make sure things were okay there. He didn't really get into it more. Really just saying there was a tragedy there and he hadn't been able to rent it any further. So he left you a couple of ideas of where to check out the house itself. Possibly the newspapers, the Hall of Records, the library, a few other places he had mentioned. And from there, our intrepid investigators jumped 6 feet in, hopped in Zachariah's pristine Model T Ford, and made their way to 31 Chatham Street in relative downtown Boston to see this house for themselves. You arrived at the house, made entry. It was dark, locked and shuttered. And that's where weird things, unsettling things started to happen. The radio that kept playing, Who's Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf, even though it was not plugged in. The phone at the other end of the house that was ringing with no phone line. Noises. Rats. You'd open the cupboard and after hearing the sounds of rats and the cupboard was empty. At one point, Zachariah sat down at the dining room table and started a seance using his occultist wisdom and his past experience at doing these types of things for other people. When to the appearance of Cillian and Mike, he was possessed, possibly. His eyes rolled back into his head flung back, and he uttered 2 words: "Get out." Taking this for some sort of divine intervention, the investigators packed up very quickly and got out. They headed down to the Boston Globe, where Mike made friends with the editor there, where he allowed the investigators to head down into what was colloquially known as the morgue, where the old paper clippings were kept from the articles that the paper had published and not published. About 5 hours of searching revealed a few things having to do with the house and the Macarios. After that, the party left and they went to a local diner called the Sunny Side Up and had a meal and were discussing a case. Now, Sil was trying to track down Mr. J.R., one of the writers of an article that was refused to publish, but all efforts to track him down proved in vain. The party decided to call it a night, as it was already getting late. The weather temperature was dropping, the rain was still coming, and decided to meet back up in the morning at the Sunny Side Up to continue their investigation into the house at 31 Corbett Street. Chatham Street. Day 2. Are you all meeting down at Sunnyside?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Breakfast, yes.
Sounds good.
Right, one by one, the 3 of you make it into the little diner there. And you see Zechariah is first and already has a booth And he waves you both down as you enter the establishment.
Gentlemen! Gentlemen!
Ah, hello.
Killian stumps down there. Like, puts out a cigar he was smoking, like at the thing at the end, and tosses it behind him. Christ, this fucking weather.
I have a surprise for you, my friend. He
Oh,
pulls
yeah.
up this big leather bag, pops it open. It's like a hard leather case. You see a handheld 35mm camera, hand cranked. And he goes, "We're set, my friend. Get it all on film today." And I hand it to Mike.
Ah,
You're gonna have
thank
to be
you.
our cameraman.
I can do that. So it's a video camera.
Well, film camera.
Oh,
Sure.
right.
You sure you know how to handle this kind of thing?
Oh, I mean, I have a box camera of myself. Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with this actually.
Oh. Well. Good.
Yeah, no, as a private eye, I often may need to take pictures of, husbands and mistresses, that sort of thing. It comes in very handy.
But nothing more ascendant. Nothing more interesting.
Well, there's a lot of times I'm paid to keep quiet. I don't think I could tell you unless you want to pay me to talk.
Well, I suppose I'm more comfortable in front of a camera than behind it. So I'll let it flip. Forgot the other lisp.
Shortly, the waitress comes by and she drops drinks, beverages, coffee in front of you. She disappears.
Yeah, take my very black coffee.
She's standing right behind you, Cillian. On your periphery. Morning, fellas. What are you up today? What are you up to today? Anything
Hello,
fun?
love.
We were gonna go check out this house on Marmara Street. Do you know anything about it?
Chatham.
Can't say that I do, dearie. Can't say that I do.
Could I get a little bit more sugar over here? Love?
It's right on the table, and she kind of points to the.
As she kind of points, kind of goes like this, looks as she kind of bends over. But you're the sight. Sorry about that. And takes a thing of sugar and adds 3 things of sugar and adds it to his coffee.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, you gotta rot your teeth out. Well, good. Well, if you need anything else, let me know.
Big breakfast.
Really love.
Whatever you got. Special of the house, please.
Alrighty, not a problem. She scribbles something down, she turns away, and she heads through the double doors into the kitchen.
So today, Sanitarium, wasn't it?
Hi.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it was.
Yeah, I would say that's a good first stop before we head back to the house.
Yeah, I guess we're going to talk to people that lived there, I think. Looks at his journal.
If you're certain. But I know I'm definitely packing this time.
Oh, look at that. You even put links into the...
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish I had reviewed the video. Okay, there it is.
The Roxbury Sanatorium.
Yeah.
Alright, she...
Let's stop wasting time.
She brings out your meal. It's the usual toast, eggs, fried potatoes, and sausage. It's excellent, very yummy. Nice way to start the day. You finish up, she clears the table. Someone handles the bill.
Yeah, I got it. Of course, Jed.
She thanks you and good luck at storming the house. Whatever you're
Thanks, love.
doing. She turns around and goes to another table.
I just kind of hand the bag and the camera's instructions over to Mike. Well, shall we?
Let's
Yeah.
go.
No time like the present.
All right. Are you going to hop in Zachariah's car again?
Oh, yes, of course.
Yeah, but like last time, I'll go to my car and grab a blanket with some large lumpy things underneath it and put it in his. Do Model Ts have a trunk? I don't think they do. Just throw it in the back seat.
They have a rumble, yeah. They
Yeah.
kind of have a little one.
Very small one, yeah.
Remembering last time, I'll go to my, like, souped up little box and grab a lantern.
Like a lantern? Like
A lantern.
like a bullseye. All right.
You'll have.
I don't know,
dark
like,
vision.
would it be more appropriate to have a flashlight or a lantern? What do you think? Let's go lantern. Whatever.
Yeah. One of
Both are available.
whatever personal preference. All right, so you hop in Zachariah's car, and you are going to make your way to the Roxbury Sanitarium. Do you guys want to make me a history roll?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Two. Ooh, not my strong suit.
Oh, wait, no, that's good. But still not.
Oh, I think.
Oh, Mike, you almost made
So
it.
close. Wait, don't I have like luck points or something that I get to exchange? Or...
You can spend luck points, but the thing with that is, if in the future I call for a luck check, if you're spending your points, that skill level goes down.
Got it.
Yeah. So.
Oh, really?
Yes, you want to be very careful when you choose to use those luck points because it may come back to bite you in the butt later.
And then there's pushing, but
to
push
know.
fails are bad.
Oh, but it pushes something different. Okay.
Yes. Push is when you fail and you want to try again, and it's basically all or nothing.
Yeah, like a double or nothing type thing.
Yeah. And usually something bad will happen if you fail it. All right, so Cillian and Zachariah, you both succeeded. I'll say you both have kind of an idea of the Roxbury. This was a sanitarium that was built around the turn of the century. It was originally called the Boston Consumptives Hospital. It was a place for the city's indigent to recover or not from tuberculosis. Unfortunately, there's always been a correlation between poverty and mental health, and more of the hospital's expenses were dedicated to treating various forms of madness. Ultimately, after the TB plague had passed, the Roxbury became an asylum dedicated wholly to managing Boston's insane. It is located just on the southeastern edge of Arkham. You are in Boston. Arkham's about 30 miles to the northeast, so it'll take you about an hour and a half to 2 hours by car one way to drive there in your little Ford. So you hop in knowing this, and you make your way slowly but surely, navigating through the streets of Boston, finally to the smaller houses into the countryside, where you continue your way there.
Ooh.
You don't mind if I smoke in your car, do you, Captain?
Oh, just open the window, but of course not.
Thank you kindly.
Yeah, Michael also pull out a cigar from a tin.
Pull up right in front. What a fantastic building this is. Look at this.
Yeah.
What a mansion!
Yeah, I did not know the Arkham Asylum was this big.
As
I
you
always wanted to visit here.
As you pull up outside the Roxbury Sanitarium, you can't help but feel a sense of unease that overcomes you. This incredibly large, imposing structure is made of dark stone, and its Gothic architecture gives it a very foreboding appearance. You navigate and make your way over to the visitors' parking lot. Exit the car and make your way towards the building. As you walk closer, you notice that the windows are barred, and you can hear some strange sounds coming from within. The air itself seems heavy and still, and there's a sense of dread that seems to linger as the air. You can feel the eyes of the building upon you, and you can sense that something unspeakably evil lies within these walls. You can only imagine what horrors are being committed within its confines, and you are filled with a sense of dread and revulsion. You climb the large stone stairs of the sanatorium and push open the large front doors. The smell of disinfectant washes over you, and the wailings of the mad assaults your ears. Upon entering, you see a large front desk behind which sits a young man in a starched white uniform, writing in a very large, stone-bound book.
Hello, sir. Good day.
Fucking pagoda. I'm clutching my cross under my shirt and nervously pats my leg for my thigh for no reason whatsoever.
As you...
I was like, quite the gloomy place. It's just so exciting. Shall we? And he heads into the front desk area.
Excuse me, sir. We're looking for a patient here. Can you help us?
As you approach the large desk, your footsteps echo on the stark white tile on the floor. Click, click, click. He looks up. Good morning. Can I help you? He kind of looks at you. He's probably someone in his early 30s, very cleanly shaven. Cillian and Mikey kind of gives off military vibes, maybe ex-military. The short haircut. Seems to have a scar on his right cheek. Can I help you?
Yeah, we were actually trying to talk to a patient here. I hope she's still, in-house. Her name was Gabriella Marsario. But yeah, we were hoping we could speak to her if this is, proper visiting hours.
We don't really have visiting hours here. There's not many visitors, so to speak. Marsario, you say?
Yes, sir. Gabriella. She would have come here around May 6th, 1920.
Which is
this year?
last month. Yeah,
right.
You remember that it was her. Gabriella was last month. Her husband was a couple of years ago. Husband Vittorio, and her name, the last name is Macario.
Yes.
As he kind of crumples his nose and he grabs this big book that you can see he's writing, this big human ledger, and you can see he starts flipping these big pages. It's going back, and you can see him running his finger down.
You might also see her husband. He was also a patient here. We'd be happy to talk to him, but I would rather talk to Gabriella if it's possible.
And you see he runs his fingers down and he stops, and you can see him kind of... Oh no, I'm sorry. Neither of them are taking visitors.
Is there
why
a reason?
That
Sorry? He says to you. Excuse me?
Mike, I believe you could go ahead. You're speaking first.
Oh, no, I just said, is there a reason? Is it just today's a bad day? Will they take visitors tomorrow?
Well, the reason it says here is not to receive visitors.
Hold on, sir. Let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Mafalzia. I'm researching madness and how it creates these delusions of occult happenings. This is more research than visiting.
Well, Make a credit rating check.
Alrighty.
I didn't know that would be a type of check you can make.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry, sir. I don't think there's anything we could do to help you today.
Well, is there anybody I could talk to then?
You are talking to someone.
Sir, are you a doctor?
Uh,
Forgive me if I did not realize that.
No, sir. No, just an orderly.
Well, perhaps somebody of authority then.
So while they're talking, can I lean over the counter and see if I can read that book he was just looking at? You know, maybe see a room number?
You're in front of the desk and he's...
Yeah, fair enough. It's a well-built desk. I can't read what he's looking at.
And it's and it's upside down, right? So he looks up at you, he would still look up at you, Zachariah, even though you're short of stature.
Leaning over the top of the wall.
Cillian will put out his faceted sigh and put two scarred hands over the table and lean forward and say, "Now listen here, boy. We just need to feed them, alright? Now, why don't you go be a good little orderly and let the good doctor through?" And I'd like to roll an intimidate check.
Absolutely, go ahead. Oh. So yeah, that's a extreme success. So you look him right in the eyes and you keep eye contact and you don't break it. And for a moment he seems to look you in the eye, and then you could see, like a submissive dog, his eyes dart down to the ground. And yes, sir. Just a minute. Give me a second. I'll be right back. Let me get someone for you. And he gets up, and his chair kind of scrapes noisily with a screech along the tile floor, and he turns and he disappears through the large double doors behind him. You find yourself at the desk.
Look at that.
Okay, now I'm going to look at the book and see if the wife and husband are here.
Take a picture with your camera.
Oh, right. Pull out my camera. Oh, wait, it'd be different. My flash bulb and my camera.
All right, so he disappears through the double doors, and you can see he's marked a couple of pages in his book. And the first one you come across...
DM, when there's a moment, I would like to look through the desk for any keys.
All right.
Here we go. Oh my.
So this is the first piece of paper that you have found that he is tagged. I think we're picking up your computer fan, Dan.
Yeah, I'm hearing a fan really loud from somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, there it is. Okay. There we go.
Shouldn't be for me. I double checked that my sound is coming from my mic.
Oh yeah. It's picking up your...
Is it me?
Yep, it's picking up your fan.
What?
Or something. There's a high frequency buzz.
Try now?
No, it wasn't that. I think it's interference. I don't think it's a fan. Is there like a cable next to your mic?
Yeah, one sec.
So the first thing that you're able to take a picture of, basically it's gone now.
Oh yeah,
Gone.
no, I'm here.
Got it,
I was just getting close to the screen trying to read it.
Oh, okay. Roxbury Sanitarium ward-A admittance form. The patient in question is a Vittorio Macario, a 30-year-old male who's been admitted to our facility under the claim that he was terrorized by a haunting in his house. Mr. Macario was brought to the asylum after attacking policemen that were called to his house by concerned neighbors who reported strange sounds and screaming coming from the house. Upon admission, Mr. Macario is unkempt and wearing a dirty button-up shirt and torn blue jeans. He is clutching a small Bible to his chest and appears to be alternating between chanting from it and muttering softly to himself. His speech is slightly blurred, but mostly comprehensible. Upon admittance, his first words were, "The devil is there, in that house." The statement was followed by a very strong and agitated reaction. And it goes on. It is clear that he is suffering some severe mental illness. He presents several symptoms of mental illness, including delusions and auditory hallucinations. The patient should be treated with a course of medications as well as held in solitary confinement due to his violent tendencies. So you find that one. Cillian, you can make a spot hidden roll. The second, you flip to the second part that he is actually marked for you.
Keys.
And you see it is a psychological evaluation by Dr. Steinberg for Gabriella Macario, a 31-year-old female who's been admitted, stating that she was being terrorized by a haunting in her home. Her husband, Vittorio Macario, was apprehended by police earlier and admitted. She's been experiencing hallucinations and delusions, which have escalated recently. She feels as though a shadowy presence watches her at night, and she sometimes hears objects drifting around the house. She is convinced there's some sort of supernatural and evil force causing the events, specifically targeting her husband, Vittorio. When I try to push her, she gets visibly upset, becomes silent, and withdraws from her surroundings.
Interesting.
And
no keys.
Cillian, you are looking, pulling the drawers out. You see papers, wads of gum, a tin of chewing tobacco, pens. Nothing that really stands out.
Spit out cussing Gaelic. Something you'd remember his mom saying that he'd get slapped for saying out loud.
After a couple of minutes, you can see the large double doors in front of you once again swing open, and you find yourself looking at two gentlemen. It is the first orderly that went away, and he's followed by another man wearing similar clothing. And you can see they're talking, and the first man points at you and says something. He walks over to you briskly. Good morning. Is there something that we at the Roxbury Sanitarium can help you with?
Well, my friends and I were doing a little research. We know that, there's mental disorders, and these people, they seem to always be believing almost the same thing. We're trying to research this, and we need to find and speak to people that have experienced these sorts of things, or think they experienced something like this. And you have two such patients, and we would love to speak to them.
I do regret that we generally do not allow visitors to a patients. I'm sure you can understand the
I totally understand, but research is important. This isn't just visiting.
Yeah. What kind of role would you like to make? Are you going to try to persuade him, or are you going to try and
I'm going to try and
fast-talk
charm him. I want to try and charm him. If possible, if that's okay.
You can absolutely try.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, very nice. Go on.
Well, and perhaps I could even get a name on the paper if we had help with research in the background. Did you do some of the assessments?
Just 1 second. Orderly Carver, could you go help Mrs. Whittlebaum in the second section? I think there was an accident there that needed cleaning up. Thank you. And you can see the other gentleman kind of nods, and he turns around and disappears.
No, this is a kind of a theory that if we treat them as if their delusions were real, get them to express it, we could find out maybe the source of it. It's a new, some people are calling it psychotherapy.
Yes, it's a groundbreaking method. Zachariah here is foremost in his field. We're really hoping to try something new.
Nope, lost your sound.
There you go. Well, gentlemen, I think...
Oh, there you go. All right.
I just hit the mute on the mic. I think we can probably help you out there today.
What?
He looks at you, Cillian. Yeah. Okay. Nothing. All right. If you'd like to, follow me, gentlemen, I can show you the way. Just to be clear, there will be no audio or video recording of anything beyond these double doors.
Oh,
wouldn't dream
certainly. If we ever do film, it'll be very formal, and we will include you anyway. So that is of no worries. But that would come much later in the process.
Excellent.
Yeah. How do we spell your name so we can attribute you on the paper?
We can speak about that in the next time you're here. But when you all have done, if you wanted to make a informal donation to the Roxbury Sanitarium by leaving something on the front desk, I'm sure the patients here would greatly appreciate any assistance you could offer.
Absolutely, and we have many rather comfortable patrons to our research, so yes, that should be no difficulty at all.
All right, well, excellent. Follow me. And he turns and he leads you through the double set of white doors that are behind him, and they kind of swing over and open effortlessly and close behind you. Do you have a preference? Would you like to see Mr. or Mrs. Macario first?
Mrs. was most recent. I think that would be the most fruitful first. It seems the most promising.
Excellent. Follow me. The doors behind led to a short hallway behind it, and as you walk down them, you pass multiple sad souls in various states of dementia. Some sit in wheelchairs, muttering to themselves and grasping at invisible sprites in the air. Others unsteadily amble through the corridor, aimless shadows of the mortals that they once were. At the far end of the hallway, you see a nursing station, somewhat similar to the one that you just passed, and also a double set of locked doors. The path that you are taking turns sharply, and you follow Orderly Frost down that hallway and make your way past multiple closed doors until you come to room 117. Now, Mrs. Macario, well, she seems to be having a good day today, so you may actually get something out of her. I will stand here and just give a knock when you're done.
Fantastic.
Mighty kind.
I will try not to, but she may get a little upset with our conversation. Hopefully she will not get too excited. Then we'll try and keep it calm.
Yes, calm, I think, is best for all parties.
Agreed. Well, we will endeavor to try.
All right. He pushes the door open, and you notice this door is not locked. You push open the door, and you find yourself in a fairly small 20 by 20 room. Very Spartan in its furnishings, with a small single bed, a chair on one side, a small little table where there seems to be some trinkets, a hairbrush and what have you, and a window. And on the bed, facing away from you, you see a female figure dressed in a white hospital gown, tied up at the back. You can see white bra straps and peeking out from between where the fabric is tied together. She says nothing upon your entrance.
Good day, madam. And how are you today?
Your voice kind of hangs heavy in the air, and you wait for an answer. It's at that point when you realize how quiet it has become. Finally, after what seems like an eternity, you hear a quiet, weak voice. Hello? And she turns around slowly. She looks over her left shoulder, and you see what looks like a middle-aged woman who at one point was probably amazingly striking. Her hair now peppered with silver and gray, heavy lines underneath her eyes, almost a sunkenness to them. She blinks.
I'm Dr. Mafalzia, ma'am, and I'm here to talk to you.
Hello, Doctor.
I want you to understand, I'm not like the other doctors you've had to speak to. I know who you talked to in that house, or who you ran into, and I'm trying to find answers.
Oh, well, that is something.
What happened? Do you know anything about it?
It was the evil. The evil came to live.
Evil?
Yes. At night sometimes I would awaken to find it leaning over me as I slept in bed.
You saw this evil?
Oh, yes, many times.
Where did you see it most?
In our bedroom.
Did it talk?
Not in words, no.
No? Because I felt it.
Oh, you felt it, yes. Yes, you would always feel it. Especially when he was angry. I didn't like it when he got angry. Things would fly around the house, my dishes.
What would make him angry?
Oh, my husband. He didn't like Victorio. No. No.
Do you know why?
Do I know why? No. Is it time for my meds, Doctor? Then you can see, if you look closely, you can see the kind of drool is just kind of slowly creeping down the side of her mouth.
She kind of looks like she just went elsewhere. I think I have a background in that a little
Got a
bit.
handkerchief and gently dab at the jaw.
Yes.
Well, we got a lot without upsetting her. Maybe we should just say that's enough and then talk to the man.
Aye.
You can roll a psychoanalysis if you'd like to. That's kind of like the insight.
Yeah, there's psychology is what I think I. Oh wait, psychoanalysis. That's way okay. I'll try.
Yeah, you have. You had no idea. she's answering your questions, kind of.
He's so excited, his mind just kind of goes blank.
As you,
It's like, this is really happening, but I don't know what to do. And you see Zachariah just kind of freeze. He's in brain lock.
as you lean forward, Cillian, and you dab at the spittle at the side of her face, she flinches, and for a second her eyes dart, and she looks you right in the eye, and you can see the abject terror on her eyes as she looks at you for that just the briefest of moments, and then that look is gone, and she's looking past you once again.
All will be well, love. All will be well. Pluck handkerchief away. And stay down.
And you hear a very solid tap, tap, tap on the door.
Oh, at
Snap
the
out
door?
of it and go back to the door.
And you open the door, you can see the senior orderly is standing there. All good, and he kind of looks over you, and he sees that Vittorio seems okay.
Yeah, like, she actually responded quite well. There was some actual dialogue there. But then we lost her, of course.
As usually what happens, like I said, it has been somewhat of a good day for her today.
Oh, good. Now, this one sounds like it may be more challenging. Her husband, he's been here a while longer, hasn't he?
Some almost 2 years now.
Hmm.
I'm not sure exactly what transpired. The police weren't exactly forthcoming with any of their incident reports on exactly why
After
he's
so
here.
long. I would like to talk to him, but I do not feel it'll be promising.
Well, we can always try, as a little man once said. Do or do not. Follow me.
Thank you. Thank you.
And he turns, and you start walking down the hallway again, past the rooms that you had just passed. So you come to the big nurse's desk in front of the large steel doors. And you see the senior orderly. He leans over to the young lady who's working there and says something, and she kind of shakes their heads back and forth, and she gets up, and he knows she's got a very large key ring on her belt, and she turns around and she writes something down in her notepad or noteboard there, and goes over and unlocks the door. She opens it and escorts she lets the four of you walk past and closes the door behind you, and you can hear the very solid as the door locks behind you.
Oh dear.
As soon as the door closes on the other side, you notice there are two orderlies, rather large men, sitting on either side of this door. You're faced with a single long corridor. Doors seems to be spaced out farther than they were in the other, the wing that you were just at. And the orderly turns around and says, "Come, he is near the end."
Of the hall, I hope.
He chuckles. Gallows humor, yes. Coping mechanism for us all, isn't it?
Indeed it is.
All the orderlies, do they seem to be carrying any weaponry at all?
Make me no, you know what? You'll see them, no problem. The orderlies that were at the door behind you are carrying basically billy clubs. There's no firearms that you have seen. Whether or not anyone here actually carries them, make me an. Let's see.
Spot hidden?
No. Just make me an education roll.
Okay.
It's one of your main characteristics up on the top right there.
That would be intelligence?
Nope.
EDU.
EDU.
Oh,
EDU.
Yep. These are just things that you kind of pick up along the way. You pass that. You would know kind of from your past history that these kind of establishments, they do not give potentially lethal weapons like firearms to the inmates in case something happens and they lose control and they end up using them against them. So billy clubs tend to be the main.
These are inmates also?
No, these are officers. But they don't give the orderlies weapons.
Oh, orderlies, okay.
Right, and just on the off chance that something happens and an inmate gets their weapon.
Makes sense, yeah.
And then they could use it against you. So yeah, you see the two wooden beaten up billy clubs hanging from their belts. You follow the orderly down to the end of the hallway, and as you pass, you can see the cells. 1, 2, 3. Most of the steel doors, that's just another thing you notice, these doors are steel, whereas at the other area they are wooden with small glass windows. These ones are all metal with a sliding metal hatch at the bottom and at the top. A few of them are open and you can see what looks like to be small rooms on the other side. And you hear the wailing and screams intermittent as you make your way, just ramblings.
This is going to sound weird, but I'm actually listening for anybody speaking Sumerian.
Make a okay, yeah, okay. We'll just say you listen.
I'm scratching my cause.
I would say no.
You make it down to room number, and the irony is not lost on you. It's cell number 13. Orderly Frost turns to you and says, now he is not restrained at this time. He is fairly chemically induced. Let's just say, to keep him calm. That being said, if you enter this, you are entering under your own free will. Anything that happens to you on the other side is, frankly, not our fault or issue. Do we have a deal?
I fully understand. I look at Mike and Cillian and go, gentlemen, you first. It smiles.
Cillian casually, puts his hands in his pockets, not least of which, that's where I keep my handy dandy blackjack. And after me, boys. Doing like a little mobster impression and walk on in.
I make sure I don't hear any screaming or violence ahead of me before I even go in the door.
Oh yeah, I don't. I just go in the door.
All right. The two rather large, burly orderlies who are following you down the hallway come past you, and you can see one opens the top gate. He looks inside, gives a nod to the other one. He closes it, and he takes out his big key, slips it into the lock, and gives it a turn. And the door is open for you, and they kind of step aside to let you go in. And the three of you are heading inside?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So find yourself entering this small room, probably about half the size of what Mrs. Macario was in. Not quite padded, as you would think, but there is some sort of fabric covering on the wall. You think it might have more to do with sound deafening than actual client protection. The room itself is sparse, and this smell of sweat and urine kind of washes over you. Cillian and Mike, it's nothing you're not common with. Zachariah, make me a constitution check, please.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's horrified.
All right.
Wow.
Very nice. So you're originally assaulted by these smells and almost the taste of it in the air, but you're able to politely kind of and
Yes, he's
Mike nor Cillian seem to take any notice.
oh, this is horrific. Shakes his head and walks in.
You walk in with the feet clicking on the tile floor, and you look over to the bed. See a man lying there. Balding. Older. Now his report says he was only in his late 30s, but the man before you seems to be much, much older.
Shit, son.
Is he awake or is he sleeping?
You see him lying on the bed. He's basically stripped down to nothing but a pair of very dirty gray underpants. His arms are crossed. He's rocking himself slowly. You see in his crossed arms, he seems to be holding what appears to be a small little Bible as he rocks back and forth, staring up at the ceiling.
Vittorio? Can you hear me, sir? Mr. Vittorio?
No. No, you can't find me here.
It's okay.
No.
It's okay. We are.
You see his eyes are frantically moving around in his head like he's searching for something as he looks up from his bedside, and his rocking starts a little bit more. You can see he's pulling his knees up closer to his chest as his whole shoulders start to hunch over.
Who can't find you? Who?
By his own weapon is the devil worsted. Praise be, praise the Lord.
Turn to Zachariah and say, Father Zachariah, what do you think of this? And I'll give him a little wink, so Vittorio can't see.
We have to get through to him somehow.
Begone! Begone, demon.
His wife is Gabrielle,
Father,
correct?
the Son, and the Holy Spirit. I abjure any and all demons and possessions and the books that may be here. Leave this man. Leave our Vittorio alone. Holding my cross up.
Give me a persuade roll.
Oh shit. I'm not good at those. I don't think.
As you're kind of preaching over top of him, you see he's getting smaller and smaller. His body is just covered in sweat. He starts ranting a little incoherently now.
Fuck! It's like a 15. God damn it.
Oh no.
And he's he's sweating, he's rocking. No.
I reach out and I put my hand on his like shoulder,
as soon as you touch him, he just pulls back and he screams. He just screams, this earth shaking, just like daggers on a scream board, and he just turns and he looks at you, and his face is just completely white, and he just and his breathing just stops.
I go, I spoke to your wife, Gabriella.
Shit.
I try and break through.
He's not breathing. He's not breathing.
Come back. And I kind of pat his chest.
You pat his chest. He's looking at you. It doesn't. When you touch his chest, his chest isn't rising. You can't feel any breath coming out of his face, and he's looking at you, just a blank stare. And he's
Jeez.
Yeah.
I push over and do first aid on him.
And
He's
I
not
just
breathing.
go, orderly. I just yell out, orderly.
All right, Cillian, you take a look, and you realize this guy's got into some sort of shock. Zachariah calls out, orderly, orderly! And as soon as you do that, the two burly men come through, and they quickly assess the situation. They see that he's in this catatonic state where he's not breathing. His eyes have started to roll into the back of his head. His tongue is starting to appear between his lips. Out! Out! Both of you out! Or all three of you out! And they kind of rush you towards the door. The orderly himself grabs you, Zachariah, by the arm and escorts you out as the door slams behind, and you can hear what sounds like someone climbing up onto the bed, the squeaking of the bed, and then you can hear the sounds of CPR going as the orderly turns and kind of leads you away down the hallway. What did you do?
We barely spoke to him. We barely spoke to him.
What did you say? Something set him off. He wasn't that bad.
We asked him we called him by his name. I think that was about it. It's astonishing. Was he this way from the beginning?
Yes, from the very beginning. And as we say, we're not exactly sure what happened. The police would not tell us anything.
Oh,
A little bit of
how
context.
often does he get like this? How often does this happen?
Well, in all honesty, he doesn't get many visitors other than the doctors, the maids, the nurses.
You must walk on eggshells around him, I imagine.
Escorts you down to the end of the hallway, and he knocks on the steel doors, and you can see a second later the young orderly, the nurse on the other side, pops her head up, gives a nod, and you can hear her unlocking the door. Swings open in front of you. Just as you're about to cross through the double doors, you just hear another scream pierce through the rest of the yelling and the cries. Seems like Sanitarium has, for now, been saved.
Very dramatic. Very, very dramatic. I do not envy these men their work.
Yes, it is a tough job, that is for sure. Is there anything further that we can help you with here?
Do not let us get in the way. We will take up our business elsewhere, so to speak.
Yeah. See ourselves out.
As you say that, you see Orderly Carver, the first man you met, comes walking down the hall. He's got a bucket and a mop. And that mess has been cleaned up, sir. Back to post, then. Yes, Carver. Back to your post. These men will be making a small donation. Make sure you set it aside in an envelope with my name on it. Thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. He turns, and Orderly Carver kind of nudges to follow him, and you once again find yourself walking down the long, white, gray tiled hallway. Once again, passing Mrs. Macario's cell.
We get to the front desk. He pulls into his wallet and pulls out like $200, which I know is at that time quite a lot. And I put the order in and go, would you please put this in the envelope from the support of Dr. Mafalja?
He kind of stammers at seeing this much money. Absolutely, sir.
Oh, fantastic, fantastic. And yes, you may find me to be a regular donor to the cause.
Mr. Frost would very much appreciate that, sir.
Absolutely. You have a good day.
You too. As you pass the big desk, he sits down and he's looking at his book, and it's like he looks up at you guys, noticing the pages have been turned. And
I just act like nothing and just,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
good day.
Three of you make it out the front doors, and you're now standing on the front stairs.
Good fucking God, fellas, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money you're throwing around.
Yeah. You're loaded.
I'm comfortable. It's okay. I'm comfortable, and I intend for this to pay off.
Snug as a bug in the rug, I should say.
But I think very quickly we should get a kind of an opening shot. Mike, could you run the camera and we can, just get a quick film? Just, there's no sound anyway. We can just look like we're talking. About 30 seconds should be sufficient. And I kind of perch. I perch Cillian and I in front of the place, in front of the doors, and have Mike so it's all,
Make sure his beard's alright. He looks like completely animated now, like now that the camera's out.
Here we go. And
yeah, and I will set him up and try. Ooh.
No,
Left
good
the lens cap on.
Go back over. No. It's like this. And I start showing him how to do it, and then go back. Okay, let's try this again.
Silly and also like, come on now. You said you were good. Like, both like giving him advice.
Yes, and Cillian, yes, he can help too. He's been around this equipment even more than I have, I'm sure.
Right.
So yeah, we do our little animated thing in front.
Sure, that's uncomfortable to say. There we go.
You get it all set up. I notice it has started to slightly rain now. Just gently once again. You've probably been there for probably about an hour and a half as you went through and had some of your discussions and talking with both Vittorio and Gabriella as much as you did. And you get yourself some nice shots of the sanitarium in the background. You've kind of get a couple kind of intros and outros of going up the stairs and what have you. And Mike's trying his best. He's trying his best. You'll find out later that some of the shots aren't. They're a little off.
It's a new technique from the Dutch. They call it a Dutch angle.
Together. It's easy.
All right, so you now
load up and driving back to Boston.
All right.
Yep, road trip.
All right, so you hop back in the car after putting away the your film, the camera back in the boot. Make your way of the 2-hour drive back into Boston Center. About 8 a.m. when you left, 10 to noon to arrive back in town. 32.
Oh, where do we go next? As we're bubbling on down the road.
Yeah,
where to go next?
We didn't really find out much of the sanitarium. The wife said that she felt the presence in the bedroom more than anywhere else.
By his own weapon, with the devil worsted. What's that mean?
Wasn't there mention of a knife?
Yeah, I'll wait, I probably didn't keep the articles from the newspaper.
Actually, yeah, we have the newspaper article. It's even in party notes.
Oh, well, yeah. But I don't know if my character kept it with him.
Actually,
or did we steal from the archives? I can't remember. It sounds like something I would do.
You ripped it out.
You absolutely did. You ripped the pages out.
Sounds like something this character would do.
Can
So yeah,
Killian-
I'll pull out those letters and show that like both the wife and the husband, grabbed a knife,
Yeah, there's a kitchen knife.
and then I think there's something about one of them even went down to the butcher to grab a knife from them.
Doesn't worsted mean to be Doesn't worsted mean to be twisted up?
Worsted
you-
means he was defeated with his own weapon. Worsted is to be defeated.
Yeah, let's see. Marsario grabbed a knife from a nearby butcher shop. The wife, I believe, grabbed a knife from the kitchen.
So
Even
not
got a
pat-
knife from the butcher's shop. Huh.
Well, let us bring a knife, and when we are there, look for a knife. Because maybe it has to be a particular knife.
And then in 1914, the oldest of the Jones children went mad and killed himself with a kitchen knife. Yeah, knives seem to be a through line. Both Marsario and his wife got it from a local butcher, but I don't know if that's really pertinent.
Are any of you gentlemen good with a knife? I certainly am not.
Killian takes out his switch knife and like does that little TF2 spy like
I'll pull out my revolver and say no, but I don't really need to.
I do not always do well with blood. I would probably not be very useful in such a sense. I just wanted to check.
And it's still in. You can see Mr. Mike Reed pulls out a very clean and very fancy 38 revolver.
Mm-hmm.
make a habit of showing mine until he uses them.
Yeah, I'll grab that lumpy blanket that I have in the back, and then open it up, and you'll see covered in the blanket was a shotgun, bolt cutters, and a crowbar. And I'll say I actually come prepared. Tools from my trade, you know.
Good lad. Good lad. That's what I like to say.
Zachariah is completely oblivious in the front seat.
As you kind of putter along as you make your way through the countryside, making your way back towards Boston. Mike, with your background, do you think maybe you could have some pull possibly at the police department if that was an avenue you're looking for?
I'd give it a shot. Yeah. Now I've been a PI, so I probably work fairly closely with the police.
Mr. Tanner's letter had mentioned the library possibly, the Hall of Records, a couple other places you could try, or you can go back to the house.
Right. Yes, gentlemen, we could do some more research in the library. We could maybe talk to the police. I mean, they were there at all the incidents. Or we could go back to the house.
I don't know many policemen. I'm completely out of my depth there.
It's probably for the best.
Usually avoid them.
Well, I never lower myself to need their presence.
I would say something similar.
But if you think that's a good place, I will happily follow you.
Let's go, Michael.
Yeah, let's at least poke our head in and see if they know anything.
That's in the working part of town, is it not? The police place?
Sure.
It's in the general area. The downtown core, if you want to go to that 13th precinct.
Yep,
Yeah.
I would like to.
Ah, the hub of downtown. Of course it would be here.
And yeah, I guess I will go through the double doors.
All right. You once again enter Boston. You make your way downtown. to the closest precinct to Chatham Street, which happens to be the 13th. Once again, another very old building made of gray stone, probably dredged from the lake itself, the ocean. And as you walk into the police station, you are greeted by a sense of authority and purpose. The entrance is grand, with a large desk at the center where a uniformed officer sits, keeping watch over the comings and goings of the visitors. The walls themselves are lined with wanted posters, bulletins, announcements, each detailing the latest crimes and activities in the area. The air is thick with the sound of footsteps, voices, and the clacking of typewriters as officers go about their business. You can see detectives conferring with one another in hushed tones, and uniformed officers writing reports at their desks. The atmosphere here is serious, with the sense that this is a place of business and not pleasure. A cloud of cigarette smoke hangs in the air as you make your way forward through the crowd before you. As you approach the desk, the officer looks up and greets you. The nameplate on the front of his crinkled and sweat-stained uniform advises you that this is Officer Faust.
Hello, Officer Faust.
Yes, sir. How can I help you?
My name is Mike Reed. I was wondering if I could get some case information on the Marsario case from about a month ago. Do you know who the arresting officer was?
Mike Reed, eh? Just some bloke coming in off the street, looking for some stuff on some people, eh?
Well, yeah, I'll reach into my pocket and pull out. I assume I have some PI badge, or is that not a thing? But
you can.
Yeah, I'll pull out my business card and I'll put that on the table, and then I will accidentally leave a $5 bill underneath it, and say, well, yeah, I mean, I'm looking up a case for Roberto, their son. He's hired me to look into the matter.
All right, you place your business card on the rather large desk in front of him with a $5 bill folded up somewhat neatly underneath. Give me a sec as I... Okay, give me a sleight of hand roll first.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Sleight of
as you try and slide it all onto the table in front of him.
Ooh.
Effortlessly. You've done this before. Greasing palms is your specialty in your line of work.
It helps sometimes.
And give me a charm roll.
I can do that.
7, alright, that's a regular success. Yeah, so you're looking at the Macarios, eh? Yeah, I remember that old biddy. We just picked her up not too long ago. She was an awful ruckus down at the Chatham house.
Yeah, I was hoping to get in touch with maybe the officer, the arresting officer, or at least get a peek at the casework.
Ooh.
See if I can figure out.
Ooh. I can't just let anybody be going into our records office, even with,
Oh, yeah.
And he kind of looks around, there's like people everywhere. Right, they're walking around and they're chattering and they're going at her, and you kind of figure that you did something pretty good. No, not a single person saw what you did there.
Bribing a police officer? Do people frown on that?
In the police department?
It is the 20s. And he picks up your card. He's Mr. Reed, eh?
Yes, sir.
Did you serve?
I did. Yeah, I did for a while. I got an injury early on though, so they shipped me home on medical leave. I missed most of the action.
Yeah.
What about you?
Sorry to hear that. Yes, sir. Yeah, first Marines.
And I will point back to our other friends and say, I believe all of us served at some point or another.
Yeah, it's good that we've all made it back. We should often take care of our own.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Just give me a second here, and you can hear someone, "Hey, Larry, what are you going to do with this perp?" And you hear what sounds like someone's face bouncing off a metal door. Bam! There's a bit of a scruffle happening down the corridor, and as that is going on, he picks up the phone in front of him and says, Amy, come down here if you can." And after a minute or two, you see a middle-aged woman, very nondescript. Her hair is kind of twirled up in you know, the curlers of the time she would have slept in. She comes walking up and says, yes, Officer Faust. Oi, can you take these gentlemen, Mike Reed, a friend of mine, and take them down and show them the records room, would you? Be a dear. And he kind of gives her a pat on the ass, and she says, absolutely, Officer Faust. Gentlemen, would you follow me, please?
Well, you didn't tell me she was this pretty. We'd be happy to, ma'am.
You can see she kind of blushes a little bit. She leads you past the booking area, where you can see there's a whole bunch of guys kind of lined up and all sitting on a bench, and there's a sergeant behind the raised platform on the left-hand side. He's calling out names and case numbers, and you make your way to the far end of the hall to you finally get to a room marked records. And she opens the door, and you are confronted with a dark room. She flicks the light on, and it's just cabinets. Cabinets and cabinets in a very large room. Probably 50 by 30. It's like the back quarter of the building. Well, here you go. I'm just across in the other hallway. If you're done, you can let me know. The typewriter over there. There's paper at the desk and pens, and should you need anything else.
I do appreciate your help, madam.
And with that, she closes the door quietly behind you, and you find yourself alone in the records department.
Zachariah, who looks like he feels completely out of place, looks around, realizes it's another room full of records and books, and just lets out this sigh and kind of loses another inch of height.
No, there's a method to the madness, and I start opening up drawers looking for what we're looking for.
Alrighty.
Follow along and try and help out as best I can.
Everyone can make library use checks.
Well, they must be using a different system than I'm normal or used to. Is this that newfangled Dewey Decimal system people keep talking about?
And
yeah, no.
oh, so close. Yeah, both yourself and Mike Cillian were actually very close. That's one thing going forward is library skills are... Someone should have higher library skills. But usually that just means it takes longer. You might not get everything. And it takes longer. So
both me and Zach went for charm. It's charming, guys. We're just not book smart.
Not book smart. So
tears in his eyes, Zachariah pushes on to keep going.
No.
Crying.
Yeah, and you end up cutting 4 of your fingers as you're flipping through a folder. You cut yourself, and all of a sudden now
just with this just sheer frustration, you see him throw this book on the floor. I can't.
And you're bleeding.
I'm just
and-
gonna go ahead and burn 6 of my luck points to make that a success, if that's possible.
All right, yes, you can do that. And you see Zachariah. He's cursing, and he's visibly upset at this old ugly
Almost
man
crying.
is literally at the verge of tears, and you can see he's holding his fingers, and you can see blood pooling. And he
Like,
turns.
are you really?
and
Are you really a researcher? Or was that just all talk? I say to him as I'm looking.
he's all verklempt, and he turns and he leaves. He opens the door and he walks out, and he does
Exactly.
slams
Yeah,
the door
he's-
behind.
Yep.
And he's gone. So mark off those luck points.
I did.
That work all right?
Yeah, it seems to work. It only started me with 26, but I feel like there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah, that's probably about right. It's based on your stats, right?
Ah,
Yeah, like I've got quite a bit of luck, but even that's not ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah, yours is a little bit lower. It's because of your other stats.
right. Not as lucky as others. That's fine.
All right, so you are reading for the first hour, and you come across this.
Ah, I think I found something. Bring your lantern closer. That's tiny ass writing.
Oh, there it is.
It looks like dated April 7th, 1918, time 8:30, domestic disturbance at Sheaf Street in Cops Hill. On April 7th, 1918, my partner and I were dispatched to a domestic disturbance at Sheaf Street. Once we arrived at the scene, we heard screams and noises coming from the house. We went directly to the house, knocked at the door, and announced that we were Boston police officers. Upon knocking on the door, the screams inside intensified. At that point, we decided to break down the door and deal with the situation as quickly as possible. We entered the house, found a long, dark hallway with 2 or 3 doors on either side. In the living room to the right, we noticed a woman sitting in shock. Suddenly, a man came running up the stairs from the basement, crying and screaming to the woman that a knife had been flown through the air and attacked him. Suspecting the man was intoxicated, my partner and I called out and again identified ourselves as police officers. He became belligerent and attacked us with such intensity that we had to use a baton to subdue him and place him under arrest. As we struggled to handcuff him, he kept screaming about a devil in the house that tried to kill him. Observing the man's behavior, we concluded that the man was suffering from some sort of hysteria and would need to see a doctor. After transporting the man to our vehicle, we went back to the house to check on the woman, and when we returned, she was still sitting in the living room, apparently in shock and talking about being attacked by a ghost. We then decided to bring her outside and into our car, and once they were both sitting safely inside, we drove them both to the Roxbury Sanitarium for assessment by medical staff.
Flying knife. That sounds interesting.
I think it's simple. We shall have to plan on a knife flying through the air and attacking us. We catch the knife, and then we consult with the spiritual realms and find out what to do.
And are you good at catching knives? Is that a skill you
That's
have?
what you... No. I speak with the spiritual. I'm sure you gentlemen can handle a knife.
Well, yeah, now that you mention it, I should be fine.
I trust you can.
Well, this has been rather illuminating.
And it takes you about an hour, and that's what you find on that. Is there something specific you may be looking for? And if so, make another roll.
Let me think for a second.
Zachariah's pretending paper does not exist.
Can I find any information about the other family that was there, the French immigrants?
Do you have a name?
Les Deux. Ledoux.
Ledoux family?
Yeah.
Hey, give me
French, that'd be Ledoux.
Give me
You were in
a,
that article.
give me a roll.
Would that be the library check?
Yes, yeah.
All right, big money, no whammies. Hey,
Look at
Wow.
that.
Wow.
Very nice. The you're looking through the archives trying to find some mention of Ledoux or Ledoux family spelt multiple ways, kind of covering the time frame, and you don't find anything.
Huh.
Which is a little weird.
Okay. It is.
You would have thought you would have found something.
Yeah, I mean, it killed both parents and dead, and their 3 children are crippled for life. I would assume something would show up.
There's nothing? Not a mention?
Does it look like there used to be a file there that's taken out or anything? Does it look like anybody's like stolen the records? I guess I really wouldn't know that.
You could make a spot hidden roll.
Okay. Spot hidden.
That's regular success. You're looking through the area. You're going by dates and looking for something, and you do notice that the date where this was to have happened, there's no entries for that date. The folder is not there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll point that out to the group. I was looking for the first family there, the Ledoux, and it seems like somebody's removed the records. Do you think we should tell that pretty young secretary about this?
It is very curious that our public records would go missing. Most disturbing.
Yeah, no, I will go to her desk that she said was across the way, and yeah, what's she doing?
All right, you leave the room. You can see Zacharias sitting at the end of the hall, kind of sucking on his sliced up fingers, and go in and see her sitting there and ask for her help.
Excuse me, ma'am. I was going through your records, and I've noticed an irregularity. It seems like, I don't know if this is possible, but maybe a record's missing? Do you think somebody's rented it out or something like that?
For which case, dear?
The Ledoux case. It should have, and I'll tell her the dates and times and things like that.
Was that the fire?
Oh,
I
don't believe so.
Well, doesn't
It just seems
sound like anything.
seems odd that you wouldn't have any records at all for that day.
Yeah, that is a little weird. Yeah, if it was concerning the fire, then maybe that they might have put them all together. It's possible if that was the same case. It's the only thing that's popping to my mind at the moment.
A fire? So there was a fire at that house or a fire at the police station?
Oh, no. Not sure which house you're talking about, but there was a fire just in downtown years ago. It was a number of years ago. There were many people were killed. I thought that's the case that you were referring to. It was the church fire, Church of Understanding. No,
Church.
Chapel, Church of Contemplation.
Does that name ring a bell with my stuff?
Is that near here?
It's not too far away. Let's see, why don't you follow me here? And
Yes, absolutely.
She gets up and she pushes and she enters back in the... you know what, maybe it's not it. This may have been farther back than... whatever. We're here now. When you said young children, it kind of jogged my memory. It was missing children years ago. Let's see if we can find it.
Is this anything I've heard of? Because I'm just from Providence. I live not that far out.
You can make me an education roll.
Education? All right.
When she starts mentioning the missing kids and the fire, you think back maybe 7 or 8 years ago, and there was a big above where a bunch of children went missing in the Boston area, and something about there was a police raid and the church caught on fire and burned, and there were a lot of casualties as a result of this. And as she's brings you over to another filing cabinet, she opens it up and she kind of flips through it, and she's like, well, here's what I was thinking of. You let me know if this is what you were looking for or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you. And yes, that was a dreadful day.
So you might have to click police raid.
Load
And then
PDF.
load it.
Yep, up it comes.
And you can zoom that one in there, Mike.
Oh,
you
cool.
can see it.
I lost it. Let's see.
So this is dated May 1912. So yeah, you're looking at about 8 years, almost 8 years. The incident is raid on Boston cult. It's marked classified. After a brief preamble, it gets into it. After affidavits linked members of the Chapel of Contemplation to the disappearance and assumed murder of several children in Boston's Cops Hill district, which is where this house is located. Different street though. A task force from the Boston Police Department Special Branch was tasked with raiding the hideout of the alleged cult. At approximately 1:45, Boston PD was notified of a warrant had been issued and for the arrest and prosecution of all members of the Chapel of Contemplation. A team of 8 members, including myself, was assembled to carry out the warrant and arrived at 2:35. We arrived at the chapel to find a single-story brick building with a small sign out front indicating it was the Chapel of Contemplation. No windows on the first floor, and the door appeared to be locked. Attempted to jam or break the door open, but it was jammed shut. A battering ram was used to breach the building. Once inside, we find ourselves in a small vestibule with another door directly in front of us. This one was also locked, so we used a ram again to break it down. As soon as we breached the second door, gunfire erupted from inside the main chapel area, and officers DeMalt and Morse were hit. Officer DeMalt took a bullet to the chest and died instantly. Morse was hit in the arm but managed to return fire, hitting one of the shooters before taking cover. The rest returned fire, and a total of 3 shooters were quickly neutralized. When gunfire stopped, we made our way to the chapel to look for any other gunmen. The chapel itself goes on and gives injuries. More gunfire erupted from parts of the room, injuring another officer. State that they killed 2 more shooters, and they retreated while continuing to clear the building. They found multiple documents in the back detailing the church's activities and organizational structure. These documents indicated that the cells were for prisoners who were to be sacrificed in order to allow a demonic entity passage into this world. They also detailed the existence of a vast network of underground tunnels beneath the facility. After searching the rest of the chapel, we found a secret door leading to a network of underground tunnels beneath the chapel. I descended into the darkness, following a winding staircase until they came upon large metal doors inscribed with strange symbols. On the floor, we saw several bloody handprints, and appearing someone had been dragged through this door. They managed to open the door and found themselves at a dank, narrow underground complex. After a few minutes, they came to a large circular chamber. In the center stood an altar-like stone pedestal with 3 dead boys on it, each with their arms stretched out, forming the shape Y. And they lay facing each other so that together they formed a triangle. Around the pedestal was a bizarre map carved into stone. The patterns with their strange symbols seemed to represent stars and constellations from across the universe, as well as unknown celestial objects. And it goes in to add some of his own opinions on how he couldn't really understand what he was seeing. 50 hooded figures chanting. Realized they were witnessing some sort of ritual, and it goes on into great detail, which you can read. And basically, near the end, they launched a grenade at something that was summoned, and it started a fire. The fire eventually burnt down the church. A number of people were killed and arrested, and as well as a couple of police officers. You can see as you're reading this, she's... Well, is that the case you were wondering about?
It's not, but this is very illuminating. And does this Officer Morris still work here at the precinct, or is he, retired by now? That seems like it happened a while ago.
It's Officer Hansen?
Oh, yes. The one that didn't die. Sorry.
Yes. I don't know the name. If he was working, he's long gone.
And where was this church again? You said it was close by?
Yeah, it's just down in Cops Hill. I don't think there's much left of it.
I think that would be next, wouldn't you?
Sounds like those tunnels are interesting, and I would like to see this map firsthand if I could.
I'm not sure if there's anything here. Let's take a look. If you want to give me library use rolls, and we're just going to take a quick 5-minute break.
Awesome. Yes.
All right, welcome back. We find ourselves still in the police records office of the 13th precinct. Zachariah, you're kind of flipping through some other things, and you come across the mugshot, actually, of Reverend Michael Thomas, who was the head of the church, and you can see it there.
Quite the fellow.
Oh, it's
He kind of says, here we go. Michael Thomas. Number 792. Here we go. He was a pastor. Not much information in this. Escaped from Charlestown State Prison on the lam, 1917. That's an interesting thing. Does it mean anything?
It's just a reference document to the Church of Contemplation that you came across.
Interesting. Do you know who MB is? I point at the bottom of the...
She looks at it. MB, 1917. That could be Sergeant Baxter, possibly.
Do you know where he is, where we could talk to him?
It's not in today.
Bother.
It's on vacation, I believe. It's springtime. Yeah, it was quite the case, she says.
Wait, do these gentlemen have partners?
Gentleman as Mr. Thomas?
Yeah, as the officer here. Would he have a partner?
No, sergeants generally don't.
Oh, bother. Worth a try. Well, Go and look at Cillian and Mike. I'm like, do you have any ideas? What do we do now?
We know that the cult leader is on the land. We know that there was some kind of fucked up church. How far is the church from the house? Do we know?
Let's get that address and write it down and find out.
All right, you you ask her, and she says it's only a few blocks from the Corbett house.
A few blocks, you say? I think it definitely deserves a look-see.
I agree.
So too.
Ma'am, thank you very much for your help.
Yes,
You've
you've
been
been
too
very
kind.
helpful.
Thanks, love.
All right, and just as you're leaving Zachariah with that role of yours, on the flip side of the mugshot for Michael Thomas was an autopsy report.
Ooh. This is interesting too. Kind of.
Sure, if you can make it out. Is it too small?
Male white officer Dexter dies. Easton Police Department, Boston Chapel. Unidentified church member. The injuries sustained by the victim of the fire, which included burns and bruises, as well as lacerations and internal organ damage, were consistent with burns caused by fire and building collapse, as well as injuries from falling debris. I say, he sounds like he was an awful mess. A sticky end indeed. I put it back.
And as you put it back, the third piece falls out with your extreme success.
This is quite the little treasure trove. Male 41. The name is blacked out. How strange. From the church, the first thing that becomes blank from the first thing that becomes clear from examining the corpse is the severe burns and something that appears to have been left by a something. However, something is torso. I don't think I want to know the missing words, gentlemen.
Seems to be the same doctor, though. Richard Wilmuth, M.D.
Must commit that to memory. Injuries to one side with the explosion, severe burns, blunt and penetrative trauma to the entire body.
Let's go see the good doctor and see what he has to say.
Yes. Okay. The medical examiner. Let us ask who that is. Professor, or where his office is. I put that back and see if anything else falls out.
Shaking every piece of paper from now on.
Nothing else from that. Are you done searching then?
I'm done. I shall stop while I've had my eyes not bleed.
All right, it's about 4:30, 5 o'clock now. You've been there for a couple of hours. And you notice that Miss DeBrun advises you that it's quitting time for her, so it's time to go, gentlemen.
Oh, absolutely. Do you know where the office of the medical examiner is? Is it perhaps in this building?
No, sir. It's down at the hospital. It's by the morgue. She looks up at the clock and says, "Oh, yeah, probably missed him for today. If you're looking for him, you'll probably have to try him up tomorrow."
It could wait. Thank you very much.
Yes, you've been very helpful. We really appreciate you.
I love, thank you.
She escorts you back past Officer Faust. It's shift change now, so the guys are coming and going pretty quickly. And you find yourself on the front steps of the police department.
I don't suggest we film here, gentlemen.
Right. Well, do you think we should go to the church? It seems too late to talk to this our medical examiner.
Darkness is approaching, and that is the best time to commune with the spirits. Yes, let us go.
All right, you head over to your car once again, load up, and you're going to make your way. It's probably about 10 blocks or so till you get there, following the address. Indeed, you do notice you're just a few blocks, about 4 blocks away from the Corbett house.
Wow. Yeah. Well.
As you make your way there, the clouds start to overcome and form. The wind picks up and the rain starts to fall.
I just say, I would keep that camera ready. And,
Sure.
go and start looking at this place.
1, 2, so, oh, there we go. 1, 2, 3. All right. So you pull your vehicle up on the corner of the street, and you take a look at what appear to be the remnants of an old church. And what is left stands at the end of this crooked, dingy alley just off of Sheaf Street, which was a remnant of the cobbled roads that were once trod by grim Minutemen in desperate redcoats. The building's remains are weathered and overgrown with crawling, scaling lichen, and black spires of soot run up the edges of the foundation.
It's fascinating. Quite fascinating. He just kind of goes in and just unabashedly starts looking around.
All right.
I would look at the soul fellow outside. He's sleeping then, eh?
Yeah. So you basically, you see a rather unkempt elderly male, kind of hunched over. He has a derby, kind of pulled down. He's kind of cradled against the cold stones of the old church. You can see a brown paper bag next to him. Seems to be tipped over, and whatever the contents that were in this bottle have long since spilled out onto the floor.
Is he breathing?
He is.
Feeling well. Nudge him with his boot.
Guy.
Morning, old-timer. Dollar for your thoughts. What can you tell us about this here building? What remains of it, anyway?
This one here, behind me.
Aye.
There's no building. How much have you had to drink?
Didn't be a smart aleck.
Better than to be a smart aleck than a dumb shit, my dad always used to say. Oh, that was before he hit me with the cane.
Smart man, you're the... I'll take a gold. Gold. Too much D&D. $1 and flick it to him. What are your troubles?
He eyes
Come
it.
on, mate.
Ah, thank you, sir. Sorry for my rudeness.
No. We need to take care of each other. Wait, no mind. You smoke?
Can't afford it.
Would you like to?
Yes.
Take out one of my cigars. Cheers. Give it to him.
He takes it from you almost greedily, almost like someone who hasn't eaten in weeks, and he puts it to his lips and he inhales a long, slow drag, like a seasoned professional, and lets it out. Oh, your kindness knows no bounds.
It's no trouble, brother. Now, hopefully that would have loosened your tongue, and you can tell us a little bit more about this here former house of no god that we know.
The old church. It's been burnt down for a number of years. I used to come here to eat, and they would feed us on Sundays sometimes. But you know, that's long gone. That was before the new people took over. They didn't serve us nothing.
Greedy bastards, no men of God they. Now, would you kindly tell us if you've seen anything unusual? Anyone unusual? Anything that would let a man of God get a bit ahead?
His body is racked by coughs. A few nights ago, there were some young kids dressed in black robes that come by here, and they had a bucket of what looked like whitewash, and they wrote something on the ground in their side. I think it's just some sort of joke or something. I scared them off. One of them gave me the boot and then took off themselves.
The devil's little imps they were. You say, did you see how many?
There were three. Three in the dark.
You said, how many nights ago?
It's hard. It's more than a day, less than a week. My nights and days kind of get mixed up sometimes. They all kind of float together.
I feel your pain, fella. Well, you enjoyed that there cigar. You've earned it.
Thank you, friend. Much obliged.
God be with you. And Cillian will go and join the others contemplating what he's heard.
Alright. So as the three of you walk into what you believe to be the old interior of the what was formerly called the Chapel of Contemplation, you feel a tingle. Tingle starts in your forehead. It's like a headache, like you're getting a headache, like your glasses are too tight. But it's not quite a headache. But it's there. It's irritating.
Reach for my hip flask. Away from the side of the beggar. For sure. So, here's what I learned, fellas. Seems 3 ordinary teens came here a few nights ago, painted this nasty little symbol.
And as you walk around, as the sun looks like it's just about to start setting,
He steps up and looks, and he kind of just holds his hand out expectantly at Cillian.
Like for a handshake?
No, he's holding his hand out like he's expecting something to be put in his hand. So you're all gonna share, aren't you?
Ah. Will you go? If you don't
Opens
mind,
it up and
of
takes quite a swig of it, hands it right back, and doesn't seem phased at all.
cheap.
Surprisingly, he can
blood
drink.
guts. Cheap blood gut whiskey.
Unfortunately, sometimes my means have not always been so good, and I had to drink quite a bit of this. But
To your health, Brother Zachariah. To your health.
thank you. Well, I think we found the right place. What is this thing? It's not something we would see in a church, I don't think.
As I said, those teens came a few nights ago. Painted it with a bucket of whitewash. It's got scared by the old fella up front, and well,
At that point, Zachariah turns on his flashlight and aims it at that thing, and he goes, "Quick, get some of this on film." And he kind of pulls Cillian over by his side. "Kim, stand with me. We will be examining this symbol. Mark, get it on film. This will look good."
Camera's just tricky, isn't it? It seems like it's sticking.
You get it running. You'll notice some things later when you go to develop the film.
Looking frustrated, Zachariah goes over. "Let me try. Get in there. You can be in some of these shots, I suppose, and we'll take the camera and get a shot of Mark and Cillian."
All right, you get a shot of the this graffiti, for lack of a better word, on the ground, and you kind of pan up to them and kind of back to yourself.
Not realizing it'll be worse than his. He confidently hands the camera back. "There, that will be perfect." So, what do we have here? I start looking around, see if I can find anything hidden.
All right, you if you want to make me spot hidden rolls, you wander about the formerly main floor of this church, with it's full of burnt, the remnants of burnt, very large pieces of lumber that used to form part of the steeple, and the ceiling above, burnt pews. Most of it has been washed away, but you can still see remnants and piles of old furniture and what have you. All right.
Zachariah, you know about this creepy shit. The symbol, does it mean anything?
He's kind of looks over from where he's got his flashlight at this pile of debris, eyeing it suspiciously. Does this ring a bell?
While you're looking at the graffiti?
Everything. It's just apparently this sets off my memory somehow.
Okay, give me a occult as a rule.
Okay.
Cillian, where are you searching?
I'm also looking at the graffiti and searching. Looking at that big old hole.
You said occult, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Occultism.
Spot hidden?
Yeah, for you. Zachariah, you're looking at the graffiti on the floor. The symbol has familiarity or similarities with maybe some Egyptian hieroglyphs towards maybe Imhotep, but yeah, it's nothing that you've ever seen before that you recall. This is, if it's just kids playing, if it has more significance, you're not sure. Cillian, Zachariah, and Mark, as you're looking around, you do notice that the earth that you're on is now covering floorboards to the that was the former floor of the Church of Contemplation. Can the three of you give me a luck roll, please?
What's luck again?
There's a little word luck at the
Skills.
tip of the tentacle, right
On
under the
left
words.
side.
Ah, there it is.
All right, so Cillian and Mike, as you're kind of looking around the graffiti and you're looking around this kind of very dark hole, you realize that the what you're standing on is weakened with age, and the wood starts to crack underneath the load. You want to make me a jump roll if you'd like.
Yeah, I'll jump off.
Cillian, as soon as you hear the creaking of the wood, you recognize that sound and you dive, rolling out of the way. Oh, it still says Mark. Actually, Mark. Gotta change the main token for that. Mike, as you see Cillian diving out of the way, you start to jump yourself, but find it is too late and the floor gives way beneath your feet, and you plunge below into the dust and the darkness. Zachariah, you're kind of standing there watching the ground floor collapse around the feet of Cillian and Mike. Where Cillian gets away, Mike disappears, and you can hear him grunting as the dust kind of starts to come up from the bottom and settling.
Oh dear. Shine the flashlight down in front of you. This big hole. Hello?
Mike, can you roll me 1d6 damage, please?
Oh boy. Sure. Wait, how would I roll on?
At the very bottom, you can type /r space 1d6.
Oh, in the chat, I got you.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if there's a place to roll that.
Nope, that's not it. She said /r 1d6.
Space 1d6.
Ah, that's where I'm messed up.
All right. So you've, as the dust settles, Mike, you find yourself at the bottom of this 10-foot hole in some sort of basement. Timbers and dust and the debris is kind of in the air. It's getting in your eyes, and you look up, you can see Zachariah's flashlight kind of cutting through the darkness, and you can hear he's calling out for you.
I'm all right. Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah, that's hurt something with your arm there.
You're right.
Will you live down there? How do we get down there? Are there stairs?
Well, I wouldn't recommend the way I took down.
I dare say not.
All right, you.
I'm looking around for like stairs.
Okay, you take a look, and on one side of the church, you do find an old set of wooden stairs. You gonna take it down?
Yeah. Cillian, come. Let's go aid our brethren.
All right.
I'll take out the lantern and light it up.
Alrighty. So Cillian and Zachariah, you light your lamps and start to head down the stairs. Mike, you are now plunged into darkness at the bottom of this basement. You still hear some creaking of the wood.
Yeah, I'll pull out my flashlights and light it up.
All right. You turn your flashlight on, and as you do so, you scan around the room and find that you've fallen into some sort of room. Not exactly what it's for, but you can kind of see. It looks like there used to be a frameway, and it looks like you can see traces of stairs that go up on the other side. To your right, you pan over and you catch a cupboard or a cabinet, and as you
I go check it out.
all right, as you flash your light over towards the cabinet, it comes across what appears to be two possibly people, but they look to be slumped up against the wall, wearing some sort of ornate red robes.
I will pull out my gun and say, you there, who are you? What are you doing here?
Cillian and Zachariah, you start climbing down the stairs into the lower level. And you quickly follow the path of the broken and crumbling stairs and find yourself now at the bottom through a collapsed door frame. You can see Mike kind of standing there, and his flashlight's kind of flashing over, and that's through the dust and what have you. If you want to get to him, you probably have to kind of push your way, clear a little bit of rubble out of the way.
Let's get to work. I call out to Mike. What? Yeah. Come to us. We can.
Oh, we're not alone, guys. There's people down here.
People?
What?
Mike, there's no reply from the two people.
I will pick up a rock from the ground and throw it at them.
All right, you grab a rock and you throw it at them. Give me a throw.
Oh, that's a thing.
That's a thing, yeah. We're just doing it for the sake. Oh, look at that. 20 to 20, eh? Perfect, right on the... Your rock flies straight into, and it strikes one of these subjects right in the head. And as you do so, you notice that the robe that was kind of draped over kind of falls over as the head kind of rolls forward, revealing a skeletal skull that's black, tarnished with soot and smoke and time. And it rolls across the floor and stops with a thud.
Oh, I might have been hasty. Looks like they used to be people.
Oh dear. Sakurai kind of stops, digging for a minute. Oh, I guess we need to. Starts moving stuff out of the way and pushing through to where Mike is.
All right, it's going to take you about half an hour to clear enough out of there to squeeze through. Mike, you find yourself alone on the
Hanging
other
out
side with the two skeletal corpses and a cabinet, and seems like everything else in this room has been crushed by the falling of the floor above.
I guess I'll go through the cabinet while they're digging me out.
But Cillian is humming the Seven Dwarfs song.
Like for every big chunk of something, you see me move this little thing.
All right, Mike, so you were looking at
Yeah, the cabinet. Just going
Cabinet,
through
just
drawers.
kind of looking through. All right, you go over to the cabinet and you are able to force open the top kind of swing doors. They've kind of swollen shut. So at first you think they're locked, but it's actually just the swelling of the wood. And inside, you see a stack of papers.
Oh.
And they have showed obvious signs of molding. The dampness has gotten into them, but you can still make some things out if you look hard enough.
Yeah. Let's see. Chapel of Contemplation, Register of Enlightenment. Looks like we have names of the congregation here. Do I recognize any of these names?
I don't know. Do you?
I don't think so.
In his defense, it is kind of hard to read what they are.
Yeah, none of these seem like people I might run into or anything.
Alright, as you look down through the names, the Register of Enlightenment. Teresa, Norman, Chris, Tricia, Victoria,
Oh, dear.
Michael Thomas. Initiated 1852. Occupation scholar. Notes. Minister of Light. That stands out. Well, that kind of makes sense.
Also, there are a lot of names that are older than his. Of course, no, wait, I haven't seen this yet, have I?
Not yet, no.
Okay, never mind. I will shut up.
And let's see. It's dark here, Mike, but you, with your flashlight, you flash it on, and you missed it the first time, but coming back, you noticed the second name. Full name, Walter Corbett. Initiated 1835. Occupation, businessman. Notes, deceased, 1866.
Corbin. That name sounds familiar.
Corbett.
Corbett.
Yeah, well, Mr. Tanner, they referred to the house as the Corbett House.
Right.
All right, well, he's looking through this, Zachariah and Cillian. Or is it
Yes.
Cillian or Killian, are you pronouncing it? Sorry.
Gillian.
With a K?
Yeah. Well, you can pronounce the
Hard to
C as a
see.
K,
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, you make your way through the rubble and find yourself in the room with the two skeletal figures dressed in the dark red robes, and Mike holding some very moldy documents.
Here, check it out. I found a register of all the church members. Looks like we got the pastor here and this this Corbin one. I think might have owned the house originally. Corbett.
Let me go away from the surface so you guys can see Gillian is a lot more nervous, looking around constantly.
What was the occupation of Mr. Corbett? I can't quite make it out.
A businessman.
Businessman. We have a security officer, and these names date back to before the Mr. Minister of Light. Is that what they called him? Quite the title. This has been going on for a while. This has history. Interesting. Do any of the like titles or anything like that ring a bell with, cults and stuff?
They tend to each, you would know, they would tend to have each cult would tend to have their own nomenclature for their ranks.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah, so.
Hang on a second. The fella, the old man outside, the homeless,
Yeah.
said that it was a church before these people came in. What the hell? This is... How can the hell can this be so old then?
Well, that is interesting. But, well, Okay, this is going to sound weird. Looking at the way they keep these records and things like that, being that I'm a fairly skilled accountant, does this look like record keeping of an organized operation? Or,
You wouldn't attribute it to a well-run organization.
maybe not well run, but
it's definitely some records.
they kept records of who was who.
Yeah.
Is there anything about these two skeletal remains? They have pockets with anything interesting, or?
You can rifle through them, but there's not much left. They're basically just bones now.
I just kind of look at the hood, part of the robes and everything, and I'm like, do these look familiar, these symbols?
They're just plain
Just robes.
Plain red robes. That does have the same graffiti logo as is written on the cement upstairs is on their left breast.
Question, gentlemen, is were these bodies left here in that fire, or are they newer?
Maybe they just never escaped. I will say as I'm stripping off one of the cloaks and putting it in my, bag or something.
Punching for burns, burn marks.
I mean, but this was a big police case. How could they have been left here? Why would the police not come back to just do the basic thing?
Someone told them not to.
You can make an intelligence roll. Anyone who was thinking about it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sure.
Funny, because I'm realizing that Killian's intelligence is really fucking high. As his education.
Oh yeah, we're all pretty freaking. Apparently, we're all fairly smart. We all go, oh.
You looked as you came down the stairs. Where you went through, there was basically rubble there, which now that you are starting to put the pieces together, it looks like it may have been like a large wardrobe of some sort, which was kind of crushed when the roof above it fell, and it looks like it is. It may have been in front of the door that you were going to get Mike in. So when you were clearing up the rubble, and you think it was probably a hidden door because there's a
not a secret room, just missed after the fire.
Yeah.
Okay. We found a bit of a time capsule, I would say.
Everyone want to make me a spot hidden roll?
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm looking around.
Killian is very nervous, so he's looking around constantly.
Oh, Mike.
Oh.
2.
Woo.
Yep.
Holy cow. Extreme success. Mike, as you passed, you basically took these moldy documents and you handed them over to Zachariah, and you're kind of looking around, and something kind of catches your eye in the light of your flashlight as you're panning it underneath the cabinet, and you see him drop to all fours, and he reaches under the cabinet. He reaches in and he pulls it out. It's a large book. A large leather-bound book.
I will hand it
Dear,
over
oh
to
dear.
Zachariah and say, seems to be more your expertise. What do you think?
He takes the book and looks at it. Big eyes, looks up at you. Looks back at the book. Oh, my dear friend. Rarely do I say this, but I am very impressed. And I open the book and start looking through it. Oh, we have an amazing team here. He's looking. What is this book? He's showing it to Cillian.
You take a look at this dirty, leather-bound book, which is I've showed there.
Ooh.
Very, very old from what you can tell. And after you pull this large novel out, Mike, you notice there is also a smaller journal next to that. This one, yeah, with that rockin' extreme success, you absolutely find it and you pull this out. Now this is not as well as kept as the book that you pulled out. It has definitely succumbed more to the weather and age, as much like the church records did that you found earlier. And are you?
Yeah, no, I'll open it.
All right. As you do so,
What in Christ's name?
Oh. Oh boy.
it's basically a very moldy book now, and it's almost as you turn the pages, small rips are forming, and you have to be incredibly careful if you're flipping the pages.
Yeah, I shall. Wow, there's a lot here, guys. Let's see.
And as you're standing there, the clouds above start to open up as the sun slowly sets. The rain drizzles down from above through the cracks and the crevices of the old church floor as you observe the book and the journal through the light of your torches, pondering what these two tomes may hold. And that is where we will end tonight's session of the Call of Cthulhu.